I've been doing anesthesia actually 27 years, a long time. When I first came to Austin, I've been here for 25 years. Um, there were a lot of groups, big anesthesia groups, but there were no independent anesthesia providers, CRNAs, certified registered nurse anesthetists. So I started beating the pavement and looking for different offices and facilities that just needed coverage here, coverage there. So that's how I started. I got in with a surgeon and they liked the job I was doing. They told another surgeon, that surgeon told another surgeon, and that's how that worked. It got very big where I had to hire more people. And then I decided I was going to lease out a building on Bee Caves Road and build out my own surgery center, to which I did. That was risky. I'm not going to lie. I was sweating. I was like, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? I don't know. So anyway, with a lot of work, a lot of joy, a lot of rough moments, we have about 18 surgeons now. We're very busy, but that's just to give you some background. The reason Allie wanted me to come here is because I have a ton of experience with reps, all kinds of reps. Okay, I'm not kidding. Like, there's so, I'm just like, what is happening? I mean, you have the rep that, like, comes in, balls to the wall, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and then you don't hear from them. Or you have the rep that comes in and just stands there, or you have the rep that comes in and you ask them a question and they don't know the answer. I mean, there are so many. It's just mind blowing. But I am going to say, because this is supposed to be a helpful conversation. So the biggest thing I see, introduction, right? So your first step, right? Introduction to whomever you're going to, whether it's the surgeon or the office manager or staff, whatever. That's first and foremost. So, everybody knows, neatly dressed, no cussing. That's a huge turn off. I had a rep do that once and my staff was like, what? It just doesn't make you look educated or knowledgeable about anything. Then that's the first and foremost introduction. Make sure you don't do the drop-in. Oh my God. Like, please don't do the drop-in because that will upset people. They like to be on a schedule. We talked about that. They like to be on a schedule. So you've got your intro, then you've got your next step, right? So that's your follow through, your follow up. Because the worst thing is when you go in and promise a bunch of, oh, I can do this, I can handle this, and then they don't hear from you, right? For days, weeks. I had a rep that I really did need something. I couldn't get a hold of her for like a month and a half. Finally, went somewhere else. So she didn't have my business anymore. She's like, oh, well, I was doing this. Okay, well, sorry, if you can't handle it, then you can't handle it. So you have that part. And then last but not least, after you have the follow up and the follow through and you're working, it's almost like a marriage. You have to constantly work to maintain the relationship. Like, it's maintenance and then preservation, like grooming, if you will. Like, you just have to constantly nurture that relationship. Even if you're not really providing a product, I'm going to use you for an example. That's okay. So when Allie came in, the rep before her, I mean, it was a shit show. I'm not even going to. I was like, oh my God, I mean, this lady. So let me go back a step. So mentor Ethicon J&J. Let me give you an example of an amazing rep. His name was Mitch, and it was when I first got started, and we had to move a bunch of anesthesia machines and equipment and whatever. And he's like, hey, I heard you're opening. I'm like, yeah, my staff's getting together. We're going to move all this equipment. Like, it's going to take hours, whatever. He's like, I'll come help. He came and helped us. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. But from then on out, I mean, he had our loyalty, he had the surgeon's loyalty, the staff, everyone talked very, very, very highly of Mitch. So this particular person got sent to another territory. Everybody was very sad. So this other person took over and dropped the ball profusely. I'm talking lost all of the accounts, all of the business, everything. And then how we have Allie walking into this mess, right? And in just the few months that she's been here, I've already heard the surgeons go, oh yeah, Allie called me. I was like, I play stupid. I'm like, oh really? Well, what'd you think of her? I already think she does a great job. Oh yeah, we like her attitude. We like what she has to say. She seems like she's got it together. She knows what she's talking about. That's a key thing. First and foremost, and one of the biggest things I have to say is Allie never badmouths another company. Okay, that is huge. I mean, there's another rep that's her competitor that is the absolute epitome of bad mouthing. And so a lot of people are getting turned off by this person because, you don't need to talk negatively about the competition, right? Just talk positively about what you have to offer or what you're selling, right? And that's really your key to a solid foundation because they're going to trust you more. And if they ask, don't comment. Just leave it alone, change the subject, whatever you need to do. So, I'm not going to bore you. I could go into so many stories. It would make your all's head spin. But that's in general what I think Allie just wanted me to talk about was laying the basis for getting relationships starting, keeping the relationships going, and that type of thing. So, oh my God, there are so many. Okay, hold on. Got one. Okay, got one. So I'm with a group of people this summer, right? And one of the girls comes and she's a rep for a medical company. I won't say which one. It wasn't Allie. And I said, oh, how was your weekend so far? She's like, oh man, I just got annihilated last night at this party. And I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, yeah, it was crazy. There was this surgeon and these people and this person. And I was like, just looking at her thinking, what? And she's like, yeah, I got so drunk that one of the surgeons had to call me an Uber. I was like, what? Somehow or another, she woke up on his couch. I don't even ask the details. Didn't ask the details. But point being is, that's another one. Like if you're going to go to a function or an event, it's okay to have a drink or two. But that situation is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I'm going to mention one more thing. So this is one of my rules, and I've stuck by it all of this time. If I ever had to meet a surgeon for coffee or a surgeon to talk about something, anything, okay, I never make it over drinks, ever, ever, ever over drinks. I'll do coffee. I'll do an early lunch, and I will never invite a spouse. I will always take my office manager, my scrub tech, my nurse, because you don't want to get into a situation where they misinterpret something or you have a spouse, even if you're taking out a female, right? You don't want to get into a situation where that spouse is uncomfortable because that's going to feed back over onto any type of relationship you might have. That's my big rule. I just won't do it. I've never done it in almost 30 years and I never will. That's very important. So,
if you were meeting a rep for the first time, what ways would you say?
Oh, that's a good question. So the biggest thing is to be organized. Okay, when you walk in, sit down, lay it out. Just say, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. I don't want to go into tons of details, but here it is. Here's what I have to offer. Here's what I'm selling. This is this is that. What questions do you have? And then put it back on them to ask the questions. Always be appropriately dressed. And know your audience. Do a little bit of research. So who am I talking to? Is this person like, yes, that's my phone. Oh my God. totally inappropriate. Okay.
Make sure you ring it off.
Yes, make sure you ring yours off. Oh my God. Those are my kids. They're like in high school. They're driving me crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. They're literally driving me nuts right now. So yes, make sure your phone is in the purse. Don't be looking at the phone. Okay, don't have your phone on the table. Like I hate when I have a meeting with somebody and they have their phone on the table because if I'm talking and they're picking it up, oh my God, that's super annoying. So be organized, have your plan ready, what you're going to say. You can always ask, hey, would you like me to bring you a coffee? Or would, something like that is always nice. Most of the time, they're probably going to say, no, I'm too busy or whatever, but at least you've offered. Meet with them over that. Let's see. And then make sure you have a way for them to connect with you. Here's my business card. Would you mind if you provided me your business card? So that way you have their business card. So I'm assuming you had called their office. Maybe you don't have an email. If you do, that's fine. But always get their email address before you leave because people like to be emailed, not texted and called. Oh, I have another example. Today, okay, I'm working and I get all these calls from this unknown number, 7 calls in a row. And I'm like, spam, 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 right? So then I get a surgeon going, hey, Bailey Square is trying to reach you. I'm like, what? I don't even work at Bailey Square. So I call this person back. I'm like, this surgeon said you were trying to reach me. Oh, yeah. I'm so-and-so. I'm a rep for this. And we have a patient at Bailey Square on the table, and they don't have the right instrument they need. And I'm like, what is it you need? So she tells me, and I say, okay, well, we do have it. Let me call the nurse who is on site today. She's like, oh, I'm already here. Yeah. Oh my God, I was super pissed. I was like, oh my God. So she drove all the way to the surgery center without asking. I mean, if you can't get a hold of me, there's a reason because I don't know you. Okay, number one. She came in, she walked in, and I told the staff, I'm like, just make her sign for whatever she's borrowing. Normally, I wouldn't do that, and I would have had some choice words to say, but the point is the patient was already in the OR. So it's always patient first, right? So you just got to look away with that. And here's what I expect next, right? It's already what, 6:30 or 6:45? Just at 10 o'clock today, right? Because she texted me at all and said, hey, thank you so much for saving the day. That's all anybody wants. Is because if they provide a favor or something, you always want to, I don't expect you to buy me Tiff's treats or anything like that. I mean, but I do expect a, hey, thanks so much. Boom. Sure, no problem. So when you leave that meeting, back to what we were saying, always have a way to connect and then go ahead and follow up within 24 hours. They want a 24-hour while it's still fresh in their mind. And then if you don't get a response, don't hound them. Don't send like 27 emails. Oh my God. Just wait till the next week. Hey, just following up. I'm sure you're very busy, blah, 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 and so forth. Always get a contact other than that main person too, because there are a lot of times where I'm in surgery. So I have a contact person at the front. So I'll say, okay, well, why don't you talk to the lead tech, get her information so you can include her on the email. That way we can kind of coordinate. You're welcome. Anybody else? Silence. Yes.
So cold calling is a big piece of what we do, right? As a sales rep, new territory, or just new customer, right? I hear you and we get it all the time. Don't like to drop it in. Any advice on a strategic way to do that?
To do the drop in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how do you get a hold of you? If you're not returning my emails, you're calling it a appointment, drop in.
So if I have had reps drop in before, and what they do is they'll come, they'll talk to the front desk person, and they will bring something. It has to be something. I don't care, crumble, it's cookies, it's usually a fruit basket, something, a box of candy, hey, here's my card with this. Can you please make sure Ken gets it? Or can you please make sure this person gets it? Then, if I don't have time to see you because I might be in the OR, that person will then bring that back. Okay, 99% of people, even as busy as they are going to respond and say, hey, thanks for dropping that off. I appreciate it. And then, okay, then normally I would say, I'm a decent person. I don't know some of these people, but I would say, sure, I don't have a problem meeting with you. Why don't we set something up? Yeah, but take something that's got your information on there. And if you have pamphlets, like the little brochures, stick those in there as well. Those are very helpful. The Expo rep did that recently, and he was able to get back with us because he did the cookies with the brochures. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you got to do that. You got to do food. It's always food. And it's got to be enough for people to share, right? The little tiny bundt cakes, those are cute. Something like that. So yeah. Anything else? Anybody? Okay, I'm going to mention one more thing then. Okay, I could talk all night long, but I'm not gonna. Okay, so attire, yes, no blue jeans like I'm wearing tonight. No blue jeans. Do not wear blue jeans. Dress appropriately, business like. I mean, if you're walking in, even a guy like I had this rep one time that I was like, he walked in like some tight muscle shirt. My staff was like, is he wearing? It's like, I don't know. So, just be business casual. That's always a nice look. Yeah. And smell good. You have to smell good. Yeah. 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 Whether you're male or female, you have to smell good. People like that because my staff, we have about 30 people on staff. That is what they notice first. I'm not kidding. When a rep or even like the McKesson delivery guy the other day walked out, and my nurses were like, oh, he smells good. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you guys are ridiculous. But yeah, so you have to smell good. And then obviously body smell, but also, breath smell. Make sure you have your Tic Tac or your whatever. Don't chew gum. Oh my God. Nobody wants to see the gum chewing when you're talking.
Would you say reps are more successful if they can build relationships with all of your staff in your surgery center versus just like you and the important people they want to sell to?
All.
Manager team, right?
Absolutely. I'm not kidding. It does go a long way. We'll go back to Mitch, that guy that I told you about. So, I mean, even to this day, right? He's been gone for years and years. Even to this day, people will still go, oh, remember Mitch? And we're all like, oh, we love Mitch. We love Allie. But things that stick in your mind like that, I mean, that's a long lasting effect, right? So yeah, you got to be nice to everybody. Always smile.
This goes back to like I did a medical sales in 2014, and this is like a new thing for me. This so it's like pandemics. What is it like about like that?
That's an interesting question. Okay, that's interesting. So I will tell you that the reps that I know that do have tattoos cover them. Yeah, they won't. They won't go into an office with them. Yeah, exactly. I don't. It's just. I really don't know why because I mean I feel like a lot of people have tattoos now, so I feel like it's kind of becoming a norm. But still, people still cover them. Yeah. And hair, your hair's all nice. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Were you a CRNA sales rep?
No, I'm an actual CRNA. Yeah. So I do the anesthesia, put people to sleep, wake them up most of the time. No, I wake them up. I'm just kidding. I wake them up. I mean, that's an old joke. That's an old joke. So yeah, so I did that first, and then I started my anesthesia group, and then I built the surgery center. So now I own the surgery center and have the anesthesia group. And because the word of mouth is positive, I had a surgeon who just moved here from Boston in July, and he called me and said, "Oh, I'm opening a surgery center in Lakeway. Can you provide anesthesia there? Because I heard you're the go-to." Sure, no problem. So he would call me July, August, September. Well, what anesthesia machine do you think I need? And or what rep should I call for this? Call this rep. Which rep should I call for that? Call that rep. Here's the numbers. Da 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 da. He's like, great, thanks. So it's all networking, like she said. It's all really, and even though you might not get this person as a client, they might refer you to someone else, right? You never know. Yeah. So by trade, I actually do the anesthesia. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm just back here. I know you don't see me. I just wanted to say that follow up about like your staff. As a rep, like I've been out in the field and everything. I know Coco is a part of it. My biggest thing with being out in the field was the staff. Like my relationship with the nurses and staff was stronger and better with the surgeon because you said like we from together. But
Yeah.
anybody there, you're saving grace out in the field because you see the surgeon, especially in surgery, they walk in, you have the whole staff set up, they're in the room for say good morning, and the surgeon walks in at a certain time. They were like, for that, if I didn't have the nurses and everything there, I would have not survived. They are like the saving
Mhm.
out
Yeah.
of the field, trust me.
They are.
So, even if you build that good relationship with your surgeon, build it with your staff, it makes a huge
Mhm.
part of the field.
Because the staff gossips. Oh yeah, they're terrible. They're the worst. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they will. They will. That actually does happen. I've actually witnessed it happen because there was a rep or two that wasn't very friendly to some people, and you're like, well, that person's being not nice to us, and I go, all right, well, don't let them in anymore. Fine with me. I mean, that's fine. So yeah, you're right about that. Mhm. Anybody else? No?
Thank you so much. Thank you.